Okay folks, we're going to make this cracked glass card. I've got plastic over it, but if you can see the mistletoe on here is cracked, and maybe you can't see that, but I'm going to show you how to make that card, and we're going to do that at Stamp Camp this month. We'll be using two sets. The mistletoe comes out of this set, which is Banners for Christmas, and we're going to use Hollyberry Happiness for the greeting inside, and we're going to use this little sprig of holly for the outside of the card. We're also going to use three kinds of ink. We're going to use Soft Suede, Memento Black, and Versamark. And in your kit you'll have a piece of vanilla, a triangle of Always Artichoke, a little red bow, and this piece of craft, which I've already sponged with, I sponged this with Old Olive or Artichoke, one or the other, and Cherry Cobbler. And then your card base, which is craft. So what we're going to do is fold your card base in half, and the first thing we're going to do is, I like to do my inside greetings first, because if I screw them up, no problem. Just fix them. So we're going to do that in Memento Black. Okay, so I got my greeting here, and I'm going to stamp that in Memento Black right on the inside of my card, and if it all works well, I got a great inside of a card, and there's my card base all ready to go. Okay, so that's one of the first things you do. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your mistletoe stamp, and we're going to ink that with black Memento, and we're going to stamp that right in the center of your vanilla piece. Now, because sometimes these larger stamps, I missed a little bit in the middle, but I'm not going to worry about it, because I'm going to color it in with an Old Olive marker. And what you're going to do is you're going to color all the leaves with Old Olive, and you won't even notice that by the time we get done with it. If you want to do it upside down, that's another way to do that, so that you get all of it. And I'm not going to really worry about the Memento bleeding. It would normally if I was going to do lighter colors, but because I'm doing Old Olive, it really doesn't matter. So after you get this all colored in with Old Olive, I'll get it finished and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got that all colored in, and now I'm going to show you the difference between the two embossing powders we're going to use. This is Clear Ultra Fine. As you can see, it's very tiny. Okay, so we're going to put a coat of this on first. Then we're going to use Ultra Embossing Powder, which is very thick and granular. The reason we put the thin one on first is because it'll make a stickiness on the cardstock to be able to hold this on. Otherwise, this just goes flying all over the place before it melts. So you're going to do direct to paper with your Versamark. So we're going to take our Versamark, and I know mine is all yucky. And on my card, I actually tore the edges on this one. I'm going to try it without tearing the edges. So basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to press this entire piece of paper down onto my Versamark pad right there. And once I get it all inked up, it's all inked up over the top of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sprinkle some of this over top of it. This is the Ultra Fine, because I need to have that on there to make it hold the heavier stuff. So once that's on there, now I'm going to heat this, and you're going to see that it's going to be all wet and looking embossed, completely embossed. And I'll be right back so you don't have to listen to my heat gun. Now while this is still wet and still kind of sticky, you're going to dump your, see what happens is, if you can see that, part of it stuck because that's where the thin embossing powder was still wet or still sticky. So I'm going to show you how to do this, because you're going to have to put like about 3 coats of this on. Okay, so knock off the excess because you've got big chunks on there now. Okay, and I'm going to heat this, so here comes the heat gun, and then you're going to see this melt, and then I'm going to pour more on it. Now that's melted, so it's sticky, and I'm going to put more on it. Notice I got a bigger set, or a bigger blob of it this time. dump off the excess into this big container. And as we work with this, you're going to see it flow across the page like melted glass. Notice that I'm only putting a little bit here and there as I get a little stickiness on it, and I'm bringing it right out of the heat gun and dumping a little bit more on it and shaking the excess off. So it is a process of doing it several times. But as you can see, I'm getting it quite thick and glossy on there. So you have to do this pretty quick. Now once it's all done and it's all like glass, you're going to set it aside and just let it cool. Don't touch it with your fingers, because what'll happen in there is you'll make a fingerprint in it, okay? And so that's that part of it. Now to do the rest of the card, all we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, which I've already done for you, and you're going to stamp this holly from the Holly Berry Happiness set, just all over this piece in soft suede. Again, if you have a newer pad, you don't have to press down hard. You only have to set those in there, okay? So I'm going to kind of do these, and you can do them wherever you want, just to cover it up a little bit, okay? Now, notice I don't really need a lot of these on there because I'm going to cover them up anyway. So, here's the thing. You've got a triangular piece of artichoke. Now, if you put it on one way, you might not cover up all those little holes in the thing. And this is a Tim Holtz embossing folder, or not embossing folder, die that I did on these for you. I kind of like the idea because it looks like cracked glass a little bit, and your triangle should fit on there, and flip it around until you get it to fit. Okay, once you do, and of course I got embossing powder all over everything because the stuff flies all over, you're going to put a little glue around here. And on my sample, you'll notice that I did not leave this border, but I left it on yours because I wanted you to have some way to glue that edge down. Okay, you're going to take your Christmas wishes. Now, if you want the from the miles or across the miles or something like that on there, go ahead. You can ink the whole thing in a pad. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a marker because I just want the Christmas wishes off of this. So I'm going to take a marker, and I'm just going to do the words Christmas wishes. And this is an artichoke or meadow. Now you can do that underline right there, and then you will get it. Okay, Christmas wishes. I'm going to put that right down here. Now here's the neat thing about this is you've got this piece that's got thick embossing powder on it. So now that it's cool, you can actually take it and bend it, and as you see it crack, that's the cracked glass technique. It makes it look like a piece of glass that is cracked, like old. If you really want to make it look old, you can take the soft suede, and you can actually sponge into those cracks. Let me get some more cracks in there. Okay, don't worry about breaking your paper because at this point it's got so much embossing on it that it's going to be fine. So if you want that to look older, you can take, actually, I'm just going to take the pad itself and put some ink on there. I don't know how well that's going to work because I forgot to bring my sponge over here. And I'm going to rub it around with my finger, which is probably not the best thing to do, but it made it look old and antiqued. And I wanted it in those cracks, like as you can see right down here, it got in that crack. Okay, and then you're going to put this on the front of here, on this one, and then this whole thing should fit right on the front of your card. Okay, and then oops, I got it upside down, right? Because it's mistletoe, it's supposed to be hanging upside down. You can trim this if you want. You can rip it before you emboss it, and then you're just gonna use a glue dot to put this right here, and then you've got your card all done.